sloppy at times. Quality performance, especially by our quarterbacks. We avoided the turnover situation, which was good for us at quarterback. We gave up the one turnover on Jacory's drive, and I know he wishes he'd have had that back. We showed good balance, running and passing, and it's all related to one thing: the quality, ability, performance, accuracy, and the aplomb of our offensive line. When our offensive line plays like that, we're going to kick the door down every single time. We got a severe challenge next week against the Portland State defense today that led Portland State to a win over a Pac-12 opponent. We got our mustache full on our offensive line. We'll have to rise to the challenge against the defensive front that took apart a Pac-12 offensive front. Defensively, our first shutout in 10 years. Excellent coaching, adjustment, speed of communication in the game was the thing that was easily the most impressive thing for us, because we've had good individual defensive players over the past couple of years, but we've never had 11 guys communicate as well as they can on every play. And that comes in the face of losing Mario and Tyson. So some of the new guys went in and played pretty darn well, but mostly it was the veterans who played well on defense, except there's one veteran that got a chance to play a lot of football today for the first time. But I've known since last spring on the first day of practice that Hayden Stout would be that guy on defense for us, and he welds it all together. He doesn't glue it together, he welds it all together. And along with great play from C.J. Langlow, the variability that we displayed on defense today was pretty darn outstanding. Questions?
How important was the shutout?
It was, I don't know how important the shutout was. It was not to me, Kyle, not a bit. Because once we got to the point where, okay, we were done scoring and the game was just tick, let's get this thing over with, then it was important that we got a lot of guys in the game defensively, whether we give up 5 touchdowns or 10 I don't really care. Once we pulled our starters, the young guys had to play, so the shutout wasn't nearly as important, but I'm excited about the result. Because it also means our offense, which was also the 2s and 3s, didn't turn the ball over at point blank. And field position was, for both teams, was pretty questionable. Neither team wanted anything to do with any punt returns, which is great. And so there's a lot of field position changes there in the second half that could have made a real sloppy game something different. You know, or not a sloppy game, a real tight game into something really sloppy and not very good. So I'm really kind of proud of both teams, because neither team really turned the ball over that much. It was just an effective display by us on offense and defense. And in the kicking game in a lot of ways, but we had a lot of foibles in the kicking game. We kicked the ball out of bounds again. We missed a PAT. Last time we punted, I don't think we blocked a soul, and we still got the punt off. So, you know, obviously, first game jitters for a lot of new guys, and they displayed it, and we'll get rid of those jitters this week.
What did you think of the quarterbacks individually?
I think he played pretty well, and both of them played very well. Tanner was a little excited, a little more amped up. He's a little more emotional because he's a redshirt freshman, and he didn't throw the ball as accuracy as he needs to, and he will be a lot better at that. But there was a time when Tanner started off as 6 or 7 on his opening numbers, but Michael played the way we thought Michael would play from the first time we saw him on video. Now I'm going to say this about recruiting. We saw Michael on video and went, we have no shot. And it was late in January, and we went, we have no shot at that guy. And here he is playing for us. So I'm very, very proud of our recruiting efforts to get Michael Sanders into our program, because this allows Tanner Guller to go ahead and develop naturally. So I'm real proud of the day, and I'm real proud of my staff and how all of that came about.
It helps when they had, like you said, the offensive line play the way they did.
There are a lot of teams in the Big Sky Conference that feel like they have great offensive lines, and I'm sure one of them's in Portland tonight. I'm sure that they are feeling really good about themselves and their offensive line. So the one thing about offensive line, it's a circular argument. There is no right or wrong answer. I was part of an offensive front that felt like we were pretty darn good. We still think we were never beaten, and we ended up being 4 or 5-2. But we, as a collective unit, we're the best ever. And we now have that same attitude here at Idaho State. Our guys, I mean, that's the alpha dogs. I mean, they're the alpha dogs. They are backing up to anybody. You know, they wear big underwear, and they play like it on every down.
In the game that you won by 55 points, what do you think you've learned about your team?
I learned that our offensive front is going to be able to continue a year-in, year-out tradition, which is to be good all the time. And if you can be really consistent at a high level with one of your groups, and pretty soon everybody starts trying to mimic them. And today was really about our offensive front playing at a level that we want to sustain, and enabled our quarterback to play at the level we're accustomed to. I mean, it looked like we came off the field and Justin Harris went right back on the field, only he he changed his name to Michael Sanders, and Michael played outstanding. Madison played outstanding on the outside. X played great. Jacory played great. I mean, just you start going through it, and really who played poor? Well, there's some guys, but that's why we practice.
How impressive was that Mangum catch, second touchdown?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, what do you say? I mean, pretty good. We see those every day. Really, we do. We see those every single day like that. It's just like, really? Okay, really? Another one. Oh, he's a great competitive player. He plays well in the spotlight, which is what you want your best players to be able to do, is play great when the lights are shining the brightest. Well, next week the light shines a lot steeper because we get a lot more fans at the game next week, because it's a key contest for us in the Big Sky Chase. You got to hold serve at home against a good opponent, and Portland State's coming in here with some swagger. I mean, you wait until you see Portland State next week. They're going to look like any Portland State team that we played against ever since I've coached against them, because they're coming off a Pac-12 win, and they are going to be flying. And it's going to take every ounce of energy, effort, maturity we have to be able to play the way we need to play at home.
I don't know if you heard, Tanner Mangum he threw a touchdown for BYU to beat Nebraska and Hail Mary.
Yeah, it's a great day for the Mangum family. I hope they're in both two places at the same time. It's really good for the Graves family, because they can all come here and watch all three of them got play. So that was pretty cool. And not that Mangum for BYU is ever going to be a part of our family, but it's cool that they have two sons that are playing college football at the same time. It's a unique story.
You wanted to wait to see John Raheem play in the game. How did you feel like he did today?
He did okay. He's out of shape. He did okay. He's going to be good. He's going to be way better than he is right now. He's still a pup. He's trying to chip some rust off, and got a long, long, long ways to go to be an every down player. Because the one thing we didn't do, we didn't contain the passer early. We let it slip away. We missed too many tackles in the first quarter. In the second quarter, we lost contain the quarterback. They ran some rollout and sprint out, and the quarterback was able to extend plays and make plays. They got ground out a couple first downs. So those are issues that you can't do against a really good team, and we do that against Portland State, and we're going to be staring down the barrel of the gun.
It's funny you brought up Portland State a few times. They're clearly on your mind, the Vikings. It's just because this game was somewhat a preseason game, and now the real stuff starts, I guess, next week.
Well, I don't want to go into the Portland State game against a team that's coming off such a great win. And remember, I authored one of these at Montana State. We beat Colorado, and then we followed it up the next week with a loss to Chevron State. So sometimes that early season win against an opponent that's not really mentally and hyped up to prepare to play against you, you might win that game, but the team that you're going to play the next week, you start thinking you're really good and you can plug yourself in and go get it again. It doesn't work that way. So we're pretty mindful. We wanted to play fast and effective today because we knew the score of that game before our game today. So we wanted to make a statement to ourselves, particular our good guys, that our good guys could play hard and fast and effective regardless of who the opponent was.
The quarterbacks, anything you want them to do differently or better?
Yeah, spit the ball faster, be more decisive, run plays faster. We slowed down a little bit. We slowed ourselves down in certain areas, but we can still go way faster.
Did Sanders put any more distance between him and Goller, or is there no more distance to?
No, it's the same amount of distance, which is great. There's no competition there. Mike's the starter and Tanner's the backup, and hence they're never the two shall meet.